just wanted to ask, Haley was saying the other day when she spoke that you did not start playing high-level hockey until you were like 14 years of age or so. What were you doing before, and how did you sort of get to the point at 14 where your career really took off?
I was still playing hockey. I just wasn't playing like tier one until that point. It was usually tier two or tier three before that. Like the minor hockey association I played for, we didn't have like a huge pool of kids, so we were generally a little lower than the associations that had like the bigger selection to take from. So that's why we were usually lower tier. But kind of worked my way up through there, and eventually got noticed and invited to play for the academy team there in West Van. And first year we were tier two, like varsity in Bantam, and then we had a good enough year that we got a prep team for the next year, and so that was like my first year at tier one, and been able to stay at the top since then.
Were you ever concerned, like 11 and 12, 13 years old, that you weren't playing competition high enough to have people look at you in a way that other kids at that age playing tier one maybe get looked at?
Honestly, at that age, I had no real intention of ever thinking that NHL was a possibility, so it wasn't. I wasn't super stressed about it. Hockey was just fun and a pastime for me at that point. It wasn't like at 11 years old, like if I don't make the NHL, it's the end of the world. I was just playing hockey for fun, and it was kind of when I started to get looks at tier one and saw myself playing against the best kids and felt that I could not just fit in but excel like amongst the top guys, that I started kind of dreaming big and wanting to make this a goal.
What have you learned this week?
I think I've learned a lot about the pace and what it takes to make the jump to the next level. Obviously, going from junior to development camp's a step, and then I'm sure like training camp in September would be another step, and then November is another step, and playoffs is even another step. So it's pretty humbling to see how much more work I got, and I think it's good to experience that at a young age. So that's probably a big takeaway.
I know Dave said you got to steal from other guys. Is there something you've stolen from one of your peers or colleagues here this week?
I think I've stolen lots from what the coaches are teaching. The little tricks in skating or puck handling, protection, competing, battling, those kind of things. Watching other players is helpful too. Watching how they shoot the puck, skate. So I think a bit of taking away a bit of everything from pretty much everybody.
Can you give us an example of something specific you've took note of from a coach when it comes to some of those things you just mentioned?
Sure. Puck protection, we talked a lot about accelerating through pickups. If a puck's coming down the wall, being able to not slow down with the puck coming towards you, being able to accelerate through it and create some separation that way. As far as puck protection is concerned too, working on leaning into other guys, using our body to our advantage, where to place our hands, how to shift our weight. Could go on, but it's a bit of a brief description of that.
Do you think those techniques will help you? Should you, Haley was saying that the plan is likely for you to go back to Kamloops this year. Do you think that'll really help you elevate your game at the WHL level?
I think so, for sure. Not every player gets a chance to get to one of these camps with high-level players, and not everyone obviously gets as good of development staff working on them every day. So I think being able to continue to practice that throughout the summer here and work on it and implement it into juniors next year would really give me an edge.
What's it like being in this facility? I don't know if you had a chance to bump into any current Leafs, or what's it like just being here?
It's really cool. Like obviously before we practice today, like there's 6 or 7 Leafs out there playing around, and you just see them walking through the arena. So it's pretty cool to be sharing this space with them, and it's kind of one of the most storied franchises in the world. So it's pretty special.
Anything stand out seeing them?
They look big. They look big and strong, and everybody's very solid. There's no real differences out there between all of them. They all look like they don't really have any flaws in their game, so they all look like they're the top of the top.
Did you get a chance to talk to anybody?
Yeah, Morgan Riley introduced himself to me today. He's from Vancouver as well, and we went to the same high school there, so he came over and said hi, and it's really nice to me, and it's cool to meet him.
Did he give you advice or anything? Did he say anything that stuck out to you?
Not really. We just kind of chatted. It wasn't really him trying to teach me anything right now. Just kind of, hey, like, give me a shout when you're here. We can go out for dinner or something, and let me know, like, if you need anything, just kind of saying hello and introducing himself.
Did you end up having any of the same teachers as Morgan had back in the day?
I don't know. Honestly, he didn't really mention that. Like, I only went there for a couple of years because of COVID and junior, but same with him. So I just saw his jersey was up in the library there, so I knew he went to school.
Is it nerve-wracking at all when he strikes up a conversation, or like like at first, or do you like, okay, I'm a Leaf prospect, I'm part of it?
I don't know. I don't get too nervous talking to people. He's seemed like pretty nice, just normal human being. So I respect how high up he is in the hockey world, but it's not like he's a god or anything. So
Does that make it easier for you to kind of imagine yourself as a pro one day when you're just having these kind of casual conversations with Morgan Riley?
I think so for sure. Like they were in my shoes one day, and I think it's cool to see where I need to get to and have it right in front of me. I think it gives me a very good visual of what I need to become and what I want to become.
Everybody here is kind of on a level playing field, but it seems like you were a little more comfortable directing traffic, talking to guys, maybe even instructing guys, telling them where to go during drills. Does that come naturally to you?
I think so. I don't really see it as being different, but like I just do that naturally. I've always just enjoyed being out there and like to lead, I guess.
I'm interested in your love of the piano and your ability to play it at such a high level. Where did that begin? And have you ever played a concert like in front of a number of people? Anything like that?
I began we had a piano at our house in Vancouver, and my dad and mom signed me up for lessons with the same instructor that my dad had when he was a kid, and did lessons with her. I wasn't I liked the piano and the lessons and everything, but wasn't a fan of having to practice all the time for getting through the repertoire. But once I kind of stopped doing that and can just play recreationally once in a while, it's been a bit more fun and more of just a passion than an obligation. And did a couple for the Royal Conservatory, you have to do exams and perform at little sort of concerts, but it's not something huge. It's in front of parents mostly, but a couple of those throughout the years.
Do you ever go full piano guy in the hotel when you're on the road with the Kamloops?
Not a ton of pianos in WHL hotels, but if there was, I'd hop on. Yeah.
Is there any part of playing the piano that helps playing hockey too?
I don't know if there's direct correlation, but I'm sure it's good to do other things, and I'm sure it doesn't hurt your brain to do a bit of music as well.
What's your favorite song playing the piano?
Favorite song? I don't know if I have a favorite song, honestly. I've got 5 or 6 that I've got memorized and I'm able to keep up, but I usually just play around with them. I don't really have one that stands out. One song I play? There's one called Sonata number 16. That's by Mozart. That's the one that you could find on YouTube that my team posted. So.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was told you before you interviewed with the Penguins, you read Brian Burke's book. Why did you feel the need to do that? It's a really interesting approach.
I didn't do that. I read that someone said that too, but I didn't read it as I knew I was meeting with the Penguins and Burke. I read it 2 years before that. When it first came out, I got it at the store and read it. So.
Okay, so what sticks out from that book?
I think it was really cool to see his story. He's just been in every facet of the game, from the Department of Player Safety to the panel on Sportsnet to being an agent, all of that. So going through law school and playing, and then into the front office, just kind of being on both sides of the game. And he seems really smart, and there's lots of things you can take away from that book. So I just read it. I like reading stories about people that have done well in hockey.
What was the last great book you read?
Last great book. We had a seminar with wasn't the last book I read, but one of my favorites I've read was we had a seminar with Caleb Dahlgren recently from Humboldt Broncos, and I read his book. That was about a year ago, but that's one of my favorites that I've read in the past year. It was really pretty inspirational. So
What sticks out about it?
just his resilience, I think, his ability to deal with kind of the hard hands he's been dealt and find a way to continue to be successful and achieve his goals in the hockey world and in his life and stay positive.
What are you reading right now?
Right now, I've got a kind of a classic fiction book I'm reading. It's called Brave New World. Reading that one just kind of for fun right now, so that's what I'm working on right now.
Is there a story behind your bracelet? Is No Limits kind of your rallying cry?
This is just found in my room a few years ago and have had it on. I don't religiously check it every morning, but if I notice it, then just kind of good reminders that anything's possible.